What's up, everybody, and welcome to Ohio Sports Talk. I'm your host, Doug. That's my guy, Jordan Maxson. And how are you doing, Jordan?
And we're doing well over here, brother. We're doing well. A little bit busy because of summertime, but great weekend for the Reds. Great weekend in sports. So we're doing well. How about you guys over there?
Busy. Kids are in camp right now. So we're doing that kind of stuff during the day. And then we've got to transparency, I have my son every other week in the summer. So I'm with him this week. We're doing some fun stuff. We went and got Cane's chicken, went to the park before we started. So having fun with him and being with him is always good times. So that's what I've been doing. What about you? What did you accomplish this past weekend?
This weekend, I took Jordan. We cruised around Kings Island for a little bit. We had some family stuff we did. Got to see my parents. Always good to come back to Miamisburg and hang out for a little bit. Had some basketball camp ourselves, and just today was kind of a rest day, so we get relocked and loaded and ready for the next phase. So.
That sounds like a solid weekend. Okay, Jordan, because we haven't talked about this, we'll go into it a little bit more later. What is your favorite ride at Kings Island?
Ooh.
Tough one?
Go ahead.
No, go ahead. No, I want to know.
Probably all time that's existing there currently would probably be between the Beast and Adventure Express. But
really?
All time, yeah, I would say that. But then a tight third would be Flight of Fear because it brings back so many X-Files memories and kind of how it was used when Paramount owned it. And then, rest in peace, the Vortex used to be my number one. The Vortex used to be my go-to.
Hell of a ride. I always enjoyed the Vortex for sure. My favorite current ride, Jordan, is I'm going to go with the Banshee. I really enjoy the Banshee. It's Bronson's favorite ride right now. One day we went, the lines were, for whatever reason, the Banshee moves quickly through the lines. Yeah. And we rode it 4 or 5 times in a row. And it was I just really enjoy it. It's super smooth. You don't have to worry about getting beat up on it. And you're just, you're just having a good time riding that ride. You were probably never tall enough to ride it, but the King Cobra, before they took it out for delirium.
I actually was, Douglas. I got to ride King Cobra 4 times before I left.
My mom took me on it when I was really young. I really enjoyed that ride for whatever reason. So shout out to the King Cobra.
It was a standing up vortex, so of course we loved it. It was the vortex standing up. It was essentially, for our fans that may not know, some of these rides are it's a theme park down in Cincinnati, Ohio. It used to be owned by Paramount. Now it's owned by Cedar Point.
I would hope most of our listeners know about Kings Island.
Hey, we're just keeping people in tune.
Okay, Jordan. Well, let's dive into a little bit of sports. That's why we're here. How about these Reds, man? How about these Reds? They're just, what's the line, Jordan? They pull me back in. Just when I thought that I was out, they pull me back in.
Pull me back in.
And the Reds do it every damn time. We're moping around. We're blah, blah, blah. And what do, Jordan? They go out and they win 7 in a row. They play great baseball over that stretch. Finally ran into the Cubs. The Cubs got us yesterday. How are you feeling, Jordan, after that 7-game winning streak? Because I'm feeling pretty damn good. The Reds are 32-34 now, Jordan. Tied with the Cubs for second in the NL Central. We have a wild card spot right now. How are you feeling, dude?
I'm feeling great about it, Doug. A lot of it is, and I go back to the moment where finally David Bell shows some damn emotion. We have another player get hit in the hand with a pitch. He finally comes out and says something to the umpire. And Douglas, they've been winning series since. He throws a chair. We get the emotion that we wanted. Players kind of get locked in. We get some other players healthy. We called up some other, we called up Dunn from AAA, and it just seems to be flowing. Ellie Deli Cruz got hot again. Shout out to Ellie. I'm always going to pound the table. Always going to be a big fan. and they're just playing complete baseball. The
For sure.
bullpen's coming out and bailing out some pitchers, kind of when they go short. Hunter Green's pitching complete games from start to finish. So he's our ace, no doubt about it.
Yeah.
So it's just happy to see it. We're manufacturing runs. We're hitting home runs. I think we're kind of dedicating too much to the steal. We've been picked off a little bit there lately, but we'll touch on that. But as a complete whole masterpiece from start to finish, we're painting the complete picture, and it's really good to see. I hope, this weekend's one loss to the Cubs doesn't come back and haunt us. We got a big series going into the Cleveland, big Battle of Ohio, two series stand. So I'm feeling great about it, Doug. Do you feel better about Ellie? Do you feel better about the coaches, or is it still they've got a lot more to prove?
I think they definitely have more to prove, Jordan, because, here's the thing. They did win 7 in a row, and over that span, they averaged 7 runs a game, which is impressive. That's great for our offense, especially after those tough couple weeks that we had to endure. But they definitely have more to prove, because here's the thing. The Brewers are the best team in our division. We're not competing with the Brewers yet. That's who we want to compete with. We're competing with the Cubs and the Cardinals and some of these other teams. So definitely have more to prove. Matt McLain, when he gets back, definitely going to be a boost. Marte starting his rehab assignment is going to be very helpful. Spears, who pitched for Montas the other day, looks really good. Could be a quality arm that we could maybe lean on going forward. But we definitely have more to improve on and continue to get better with. But I think there are enough building blocks here to make us excited about what this team could be and going forward. Again, we're going to touch on this a little bit in a little bit, but Jordan, we got the Guardians coming up. That's a measuring stick. They're a damn good ball club, and we've got them, and we've got them this coming week. What are your thoughts on that part? Because I do think we're a good team, but I want to be sure that we're this is who we are. 7 games, great, but that's still a small sample size in the overall arcing of a long season. If we can be this competitive and be in these ball games and hit as well as we're capable of, I believe in this team. I think we could get a wild card spot, but it's going to have to be sustained, and we're going to have to get healthy. Shout out to Mark Fetters he's a big supporter on Twitter. Really appreciate that guy. Great better. That man is a good better. If you like to bet, tail Mark, because that guy gets it. And then obviously shout out to Darren. Darren,
what's going
love
on?
You, buddy. Nick Lodolo, man, that guy can throw the ball. He is a damn good pitcher. We appreciate you stopping in, Darren.
Lodolo's really coming into his own. I love what we see. The last 2 starts have been really quality. He
feels like he's got it. He's got it pretty much hammered down now. Jordan, what do you need to see from the Reds to make you think, we might not catch the Brewers, but this team can compete for a wild card spot and maybe go a little bit further? What would they have to show you?
Consistency in the offense. We know what our starting pitchers are. We know that Hunter Green can be an all-star when he wants to be. And we know the bullpen has absolutely stepped up, even kind of beyond that 7-game stretch. The bullpen was kind of carrying him even through a couple of those losses. So we know what we have for arms. It's only going to get healthier. It's only going to get better. We send another guy to Louisville. Maybe he'll come back in the bullpen rotation, Ashcraft. And that's only going to bolster us one way or another. So I need to see consistency in offense. Can we continue to manufacture runs? Can we continue to hit singles and doubles and, really kind of create scenarios where we get the opposing pitcher and, 15, 20 pitches for the inning and kind of dig into his arm and get him out and kind of expose other teams' bullpens? Because you look around the league in the NL, outside of teams that are consistently winning, especially in the NL Central, you look at the Cubs and everybody else, their bullpen is not that great. A lot of their bullpens are rated in the bottom tier of the league. So if we can get past some of these starting pitchers and beat the teams that we're supposed to beat, we're going to be right there in the wild card. So it's just consistency in offense and just kind of patience in a batter's box. What about you, Doug? Where do you see? Do you think it's more offensively, or do you think it's more we need to continue to tweak the pitching and the bullpen?
I think we have a damn good pitching staff. Now, Frankie Montas got beat up the other night, but overall, I think our 1 through 4 is very solid. I think we're probably close to a top 10 rotation. I don't want to go overboard by any means and say, but I think we're in that mix, though, in the 10, 11, 12 range. I think we got a damn good starting rotation. The bullpen does worry me sometimes, but, Cruz has been excellent this year. He's one of our best players. And Diaz, he does worry me. But those guys, when push comes to shove, they usually get the job done. So I do like the back end of our bullpen. I worry about the in-between. Lucas Sims is dangerous when he has the ball. And,
he's a wild card.
Martinez has done a better job out of the bullpen. But, some of that worries me, Jordan, because, they're not consistent and they're not some of the better players at their position, I'll say.
And I know I'm putting you on the spot. Is there anybody that's in AAA or even in high single A in Dayton that you think is going to get the call up for the All-Star break when it comes to pitching?
Not in terms of
maybe not starting, but
relief.
Do you think
no, I don't think we have any relief pitchers that are coming up. I think what we have coming up are starters that you might potentially call up and maybe have them try to eat some innings out of the bullpen, but that's not their usual job. We've got a couple names that are coming up, but they're all starters for the most part. So that's where I worry about it a little bit. Do you guys need a power bat at the deadline? Maybe Rooker from the A's. Darren, thanks for bringing that up. Rooker is a name that we've seen mentioned. We've also seen Roberts from the White Sox mentioned, and then people are talking about the kid from the Angels. I'm drawing a blank on his name. He's one of the outfielders from the Angels. Drawing a blank on him, unfortunately, but Ward. It might be Ward. But those are three names that we've heard mentioned in some rumors recently. So any of those bats I would totally take. Not sure what it would take to get a guy like them, but I'm willing to move. I like Will Benson a lot, but I don't think he, I think we could upgrade from him in terms of our outfield. He strikes out a lot. He is a solid fielder, but I think we can upgrade from Will Benson.
Or would you be willing to trade somebody? Would you be willing to trade somebody like CES when he gets healthy?
No, I would not. Too young, way too young. No, he's just too young, Jordan. I would not trade him. Definitely not.
It was just a thought on my head when I look at the guys coming off of the 15-day list, the 10-day list. We're getting close to getting some guys back in rotation and healthy. And then management's going to have some decisions to make because some of the guys that have stepped in and have taken reps and taken games from the guys that are on the injury list. You're going to have trade candidates, especially when the All-Star break groups closer and closer. And both you and I think that's going to probably be tweaking some pitching. So one of these young names is going to be up for candidacy, unfortunately.
Yeah, and hey, that does happen. I'm not bullish. Sometimes you have to get rid of somebody to make a bigger move, and that's part of the game. And I'm not opposed to that. If you go out and you want to spend the money, please spend the money and bring us in a big time player. Spend the capital, do what you need to do to bring in a big bat. Because that's what the Reds are lacking. They are lacking a legitimate home run hitter right now. Candelario's done a solid job with his power. Ellie's, he's done what he can do, but we need a guy who, hey, this guy's going to get us 30 plus home runs every year, and that's something we've kind of had it here and there, but not consistently, Jordan. And that's what kind of worries me is the lack of power. So shout out to Darren for that. That's a great comment. Definitely need that. Jordan, let's transition Battle of Ohio now. Guardians tomorrow night, 7:10 start. Tristan McKenzie for them, a guy I thought was going to be really good. He's a solid starter, but he's not fantastic. And we are going to go with the pitching by committee tomorrow night because of the tough start from Montas where Spears had to go in and bail him out. Pitching by committee tomorrow night. What are your thoughts, Jordan, on our first game in the Battle of Ohio against straight up, they are a damn good baseball team.
No, they are. It makes me worry, Doug, when I hear pitching by committee for the Reds. I really was kind of hoping maybe we'd go to Abbott. I know they're rethinking Hunter Green's rotation. He's had 100-plus pitches his last 4 outings. I know you tweeted on that and commented that it's not a bad idea to make sure our ace gets his arm rest. As much as I'd love to see him start this series, just because it means something on the Richter scale of what you were touching on. This is our measuring stick, 110%. They are one of the best teams in the AL, if not the best team in the AL when they get hot. And it's just kind of win or lose, you want to see where you're at. Because I would treat this series like a 2-game playoff series in October. If I was the manager, that's because you want to see what you're at against the best. They got the best at LA Dodgers. That's always a great sign. We swept them. We got that under our belt. And for a team like Cleveland to come in on the AL side, if you even split this series, I think that's a huge win for the Reds' morale and the Reds' talent level. So I think if it's going to be pitching by committee, I think we're going to drop tomorrow's game, Doug. I'm going to be kind of realistic about it. Unless the bats get hot, and we know what the Reds can do when the bats get hot. The bats are hot. But Cleveland just came off a game where they just smacked 8 runs against Miami themselves, and they got one of the best hitters in the AL and MLB right now. Period. So going against somebody like that with the pitching by committee scares me.
Okay, that's fair. I do. I'm worried about this series too because we have so much momentum. We dropped the one of the Cubs. That's going to happen. But the Guardians, like you said, they're just so damn good. They lost 2 in a row there to the Royals and the Marlins, and then they won two back-to-back, scoring 8 and 6 runs. And like you said, the pitcher by committee worries me because those arms, you're just wasting them up, and then you got to have the next, the Wednesday we got to hopefully have a pitcher go deeper into the game to save those arms on the back end. So I'm definitely worried about the pitcher by committee. And you know what? We know that the Guardians have Steven Kwan, they've got Jose Ramirez, they've got Josh Naylor, Tyler Freeman. They've got really good hitters. So we got to do a damn good job of dealing with these guys. David Fry. Go ahead.
Oh no, I'm just saying, don't take anything away from our rotation. Ellie Deli Cruz has come on strong. Jonathan India had a huge couple of games. He's hitting grand slams. He's getting on base. He's taking walks. Dunn, newer to the rotation, is very patient in the box. He's getting on base too. He's finding ways. Yeah, he's getting walked unusually high for what we consider to be a rookie when it comes to the pros. So we got some potential there. It just for me it's gonna be our arms. It's gonna be our pitching. Our pitching by committee scares me. But if the Reds stay hot and consistent, if you get India getting on base and Ellie taking walks and being patient, and all of a sudden Candelario gets one deep, which has been kind of a pattern for him about every other game right now, and you just kind of get those things going, and then the rest of the team just kind of feeds off that. So they could get hot, but it's just a matter of getting to the second and third inning and not being in the hole, 2 or 3 runs where you got Ellie swinging at everything.
We can't have one of those. We can't have one of those.
That old Space Jam thing when they're making fun of Michael Jordan. Get this guy a tennis racket. That's kind of where his mindset goes when they go in the hole. So if the pitching can keep it competitive, and our batters don't feel like they're hitting the fucking panic button, I think we'll be okay. But that pitching by committee, it doesn't make me feel good after a big 7-game win, multiple series wins, even though we kind of dropped one, but they were still in the game against the Cubs there realistically at the end. I don't want to see the morale get down because of a bad management decision here when it comes to pitching.
And I want to say something because you shouted him out. Shout out to Jonathan India. He's got the average up to 243. He's got his on base percentage up to 358. He's done a damn good job recently of kind of turning the corner here where he was struggling. He's leading the team in walks with 35, doing a good job there. He's keeping the strikeouts down for the most part. He's got the WAR back over 0.5. You're spot on with that praise. And it's somebody I want to praise a little bit, Jordan, is Tyler Stevenson. Tyler Stevenson, I made a short about him a couple weeks ago, talking about I'm ready to extend Tyler Stevenson. I think he deserves a new contract. I think he's played himself into a new contract. He's having a damn good season. 6 home runs, 22 RBIs, 15 walks. He's keeping the strikeouts down. He's hitting 262, 330 on base percentage, 429 slugging. He's got the best slugging percentage on the team right now. And then he's got the 1.5 WAR. I mean, I think we got to lock this guy down. I understand people have some issues. They want him playing every day. So do I. But, sometimes that just doesn't happen, unfortunately. But Tyler Stevenson, Jonathan India, those guys have been big this past week and a half. And I definitely think they deserve their credit. And you know what? Shout out to the Candyman. That guy's starting to hit home runs, like you said. Yeah. And it feels good when that guy gets a hold of him. So he's up to 9 home runs now. I think we just need a little more just a little bit more pop in the lineup is all I think.
I fully agree with you. We don't have that Adam Dunn figure where he could come up and just crush one. I know about his strikeout history, but just the fact that he had him in a rotation, and it was a coin toss. If you gave him the wrong pitch, it went yard. And he had a lot more moments that meant big time runs. He had always kind of brought the 1 or 2 guys that were on base in, or went for the grand slam. So
yeah,
it would be nice to see a guy like that in a rotation, like you said. You hit the nail on the head. Somebody just right in the middle that it's a coin toss. The pitcher's got to pitch to him, got to think about it. And right now we just don't have that consistency in the lineup. So I would love to see that too, whether it be via trade or if there's somebody down in AAA that we don't know about yet because we don't always get to scout them. But it'd be nice to kind of see that happen.
Yeah, no, totally. I'm glad you brought that up. Yeah, that's why I think we need to make a trade for go out and get one of these guys who can crush home runs. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Appreciate you guys. Thank you, guys, Darren, Mark, everybody watching. 74 people watching right now. We appreciate every single one of you.
Sir.
Thank you all. Thank you. Jordan, we're getting ready to debut a new segment we've been working on. Still working on the graphic for it. But the idea, Jordan, and we touched on it a little bit earlier in the day with the hype video that you put out. Every episode, we're going to highlight one college football team from Division I in our state. And we're going to, talk about the team, mention the coach, kind of discuss who they are as a team, what they've been up to the last couple of years. And, we'll highlight their best players coming into next year and where they're projected to go, their recruiting classes, some of that kind of stuff, Jordan. And we're going to start with the Akron Zips. That's your go-to team. Your go-to team when we start our franchises. How are you feeling? As you're kind of an outsider in the Akron Zip world. So what are your thoughts there?
I think they're above the middle of the pack for their conference.
Unfortunately, they're not, dude. They're really bad.
I think they're going to do better. So we see the graphic there. We know they went 3-9 last year, but they're known for.
That's what they're projected to do this year.
That's what they're projected.
Dude. Okay, let me read it for you. And then we'll get into it. Okay, starting fresh.
3-9.
Akron. They are in the Mid-American Conference. They play at Infocision Stadium, solid stadium for the MAC. Head coach Joe Moorhead. He is 4-20 in his tenure at Akron. They have gone 2-10 the last 2 years. They are rivals with Kent State. Looking into the team, again, like I mentioned, they have struggled. They are projected to finish 3-9 this year, second to last in the MAC. That is rough. We're going to cover the team that is going to finish last in the MAC, and they're projected to even finish worse. So tough go of it for the MAC, a little MACtion. But recruiting class-wise, I do want to shout out Akron. They were 106th ranked class in the country. They had 19 commits, and they were the 95th transfer class with 13 commits. They had a lot of 3-stars coming in. I think they might be able to finish above 3-9. They do have a hard schedule to start the year. Jordan, they play Ohio State week 1, and they are 51-point underdogs against us. So they're off to a rough start. They play Rutgers, Colgate, and South Carolina. So they definitely have an uphill battle to start the year, Jordan. But then you get into MAC play, and anything can happen in MAC play. It just takes it takes the team getting hot. So like I said, Ohio State, Rutgers, Colgate, South Carolina, Ohio, Bowling Green, Western Michigan, Eastern Michigan, Buffalo, Northern Illinois, Kent State, Toledo. So that's the full slate for them. What I did like about Akron, though, Jordan, while doing my research, is they went out and got a quarterback from Cal who could be potentially their starter. He's projected right now to be the starter. He didn't get a ton of reps at Cal last year, but he definitely comes in with that kind of that feel like, hey, this could be our starter. He's experienced that at the Power 5 level, and that's kind of what we're looking for. If you look at their roster based on last year, they had a dual threat quarterback come in, Taj Bullock, not a great passer, 48% passing, threw for 3 touchdowns, but he was a good runner when he did. He ran for 165 yards, rushed for 4 touchdowns. Might see him a little bit in a couple packages, but Ben Finley will be the projected starter for Akron, the quarterback. And then we've got Brian McCoy, a really solid middle linebacker for Akron. Led the team in tackles with 95 tackles last year.
That's impressive, no matter where you're at.
Yeah, no, exactly. 95 tackles. He had a sack, a forced fumble, and just a good player. Scored on a fumble touchdown. Also, really good player, Brian McCoy, linebacker. And then the last player I wanted to highlight for them was CJ Nunnally, the 4th. He is a D lineman. He had 65 tackles, 35 solo, 30 assisted. He led the team with 7 sacks last year. He had 2 passes deflected on the D line and forced a fumble. So while the offense may be a big question mark for Akron, I do think they have some solid pieces on defense. They also had another linebacker. His name was Atavius Fish, 94 tackles last year. So 2 very solid linebackers to go with a good defensive lineman. Maybe they win 4 or 5 games, if they get hot. But
it was a push for 5.
Yeah, it's going to be a long year. But we wanted to stop and highlight Akron because we're going to go through all these colleges. We're going to have a similar layout every week, and we wanted to touch on them and mention Akron because besides Ohio State, Cincinnati, not a lot of these teams get a lot of rub in the state of Ohio when we start talking about D1 football. So we're going to highlight some of these teams and go over their rosters, their best players, their recruiting classes, that kind of information, and just give them a little bit of a spotlight every week. So week 1, Akron Zips. I love the kangaroo logo, Jordan. That is one of my favorite logos, dude.
It is.
I absolutely love it. Can't wait till College Football 25 comes out and you can start to rebuild these guys because they need your help in the worst way.
We'll be there, brother. July 19th. We'll be there.
Okay, well, we'll transition from that, Jordan, back to back to football. Ohio State, Jordan, we're doing something different tonight. We're gonna, sports are a little bit low right now. We've got the Reds. FC Cincinnati's been off. Let's do something fun here. Let's rank our 10 favorite Ohio State Buckeyes of all time. Jordan, who is your number 10?
Number 10, man. I'd probably say San Antonio Holmes would be 10 for me.
That's a good pick. That is a damn good pick. He was so good at it. I mean, he had a good run in the NFL also. I don't want to discredit him or anything, but he was a damn good player for Ohio State. My number 10, Jordan, I'm going to go with that's a tough one.
You feel the pressure
I'm gonna cheat and I'm gonna say the Bosa brothers. Nick and Joey Bosa are my number 10. It just was so much fun having dominant pass rushers for those couple years that we had those guys, and they were so damn talented. Joey, just the Bosa brothers, man. That's my number 10. Who do you got at number 9, Jordan?
Oh, 9, this one was easier. I gotta say AJ Hawk. He was just so fun when he got there. His look. Bobby Carpenter kind of copied his look. We had the long hair, the aggressiveness. He did it in pass coverage, did it in blitzing, did it in run. Just really complete player. Just made it a lot of fun. Granted, we lost that game to Texas that year that both Carpenter and him were on a team. But even that game was, it came down to the wire. It was super competitive.
Yeah.
They just really brought that Ohio State Jim Trussell era defense, and that was kind of Trussell's stable. He always had good linebackers coming in.
Yeah, no, that's a good one. My number 9, I'm gonna go Chris Olave. I just felt like he always made a big play when we needed it. A big shot deep, a big time catch. It just always felt like Chris Olave had his nose in the game when you needed it most, and he was going to make a play. And Chris Olave for me was one of the all timers. Jordan, number 8.
I'm gonna have to give this to Ezekiel Elliott.
Zeke.
Just that dominant playoff performance. Us beating Bama, us beating Oregon, becoming the first playoff championship team to hoist the title. That man, I mean, he'll forever be edged in history. That's just not even past Ohio State lore. Just that performance against Alabama. They've never seen a running back do that to him. So really shout out to Ezekiel Elliott and just kind of everything he brought to the team, both in the pass game and in the run game. We really haven't had it since.
Yeah, number 8. That's a good one. I'm going to go with the running back also for number 8. I'm going to go with Beanie Wells. Beanie Wells. I just loved the way Beanie Wells played football, the way he ran the ball. I always thought he was going to be a better pro than what he turned out to be, but he was a damn good running back at Ohio State. Number 7, Jordan.
Number 7, I'm going to go with Mike Thomas. Definitely just a guy that was just purely a possession receiver. Always kind of found the ball in tough situations. Kind of felt like that third down, no matter if it was 3rd and 8 or 3rd and 2, and we were able to put it in shotgun and get it into his hands, and he just went and got yards after the catch. And that's just something you don't see a lot of when it comes to receivers these days. So, big shout out to Mike Thomas.
Yeah, no, Mike Thomas was a damn good. But that's the thing, though, Jordan. We've had so many good receivers that it's almost hard to keep them all straight. My number 7, I'm gonna put AJ Hawk here. AJ Hawk, when I was growing up and I got to be a certain age, I was like, this is what a linebacker should be. AJ Hawk is the prototypical linebacker, and he went on to have a great career in the pros, all-time leading tackler for the Packers, had a couple good years for the Bengals. But A.J. Hawk was fantastic. All-American at Ohio State, one of our best ever. A.J. Hawk is my number 7. Jordan, number 6 for you.
Number 6 for me, I'm going to go quarterback here. Troy Smith. Troy Smith was just –
yeah.
We had good quarterbacks, but to me, Troy Smith just changed the whole trajectory of how Ohio State played football in the quarterback position. Without him, I don't think we would have had the Terrell Pryors and kind of the people that came in after him. Troy Smith really laid the groundwork down. He was a little shorter in stature than what most quarterbacks in Division I and the power conferences were, but the man just got it done. He knew where Ted Ginn was on the field, and his mobility and keeping plays alive. Troy Smith was so much fun to watch.
Fantastic answer, Jordan. I love Troy Smith. But my next one, I'm going to go with Denzel Ward. Denzel Ward was absolutely locked down on that side, on the side of the field. He's been good in the pros too, but at Ohio State, he was next level lockdown. Give me Denzel Ward as my number 6, game changer for Ohio State. Number 5, Jordan.
I hate to echo you, brother, but number 5 was going to be Denzel Ward for me too, because he's just absolutely shut down. And as a pro, he's always a thorn in the Bengals' side right now. We can never get really past him, but at Ohio State, just really kind of highlighted our secondary. We always had decent corners and stuff like that, but Denzel Ward to me was just kind of the next level player.
Yeah, no, totally. Shout out to Tyler McGurk, Sports with a Slur. Sports with a Slur will be live after us. Go check out our guy, Tyler McGurk. He runs a hell of a program over there. One of our good friends. Jordan, my number 5, I'm going to go with I'm going to put
you're
Chris.
On 4. You're on 4.
No, I'm on 5. You just did 5.
Oh,
I'm going Chris Gamble, Jordan. Chris Gamble was a key cog in the upset against Miami. Chris Gamble was one of the first players I ever remember playing both sides of the ball. He would go out corner, then he would come back and play wide receiver also. And that just blew my mind that he was talented enough to go both ways, because I was still, relatively young. I didn't realize that Dion had done it and done it so well. And I didn't realize some of these other guys had done it. But Chris Gamble, fantastic player, went to the Panthers, had a solid NFL career. Chris Gamble was stupid good for Ohio State in the early 2000s. You're number 4, Jordan.
This one stings a little bit because he didn't have a great career afterwards, but you know what? I might hold back on that. Okay. Let me hear your. I'm going to think about it for a second. Let me hear your number 4.
Okay, so this one has a different reasons. This one has a different reasoning for me. James Laurinaitis. We just talked about him a little bit ago. I thought he was so damn good. I thought he was going to be. And he was for a couple years with the Rams. He was a damn good linebacker in the pros. I thought he was going to be the best linebacker in the pros. He was fast. He could cover. He would close the run off. And I always thought it was so cool that his dad was the Road Warrior animal from WWE. The Road Warriors, the spikes. I just thought that stuff was so cool. I still loved wrestling back then. So James Laurinaitis, I'm going to put him at number 4.
And his dad at the games, when they highlighted him,
they had
he dyed the spikes and
so cool. It was so cool. James Laurinaitis, my number 4.
I'm going to throw a wrench. My number 4, I'm going to go with Jonathan Hankins. Really underrated defensive tackle, but still being so productive in the pros. Whether he was in Oakland and getting it done for Dallas, but when he was at Ohio State, he was just a guy that was just pushing the pocket, made life so much easier for just so many other the amazing pass rushers we had at the time. But Jonathan Hankins always seemed to get that big tackle for loss, whether it was against a running back. He would just blow up plays, and I miss seeing that. I really do.
Yeah, no, that's a good one. Go back to back, Jordan. You're number 3.
Number three, I'm going to say James Laurinaitis, just because you and I were talking about this before the show. Not to echo you, we're hardcore fans, folks.
Yeah,
our
we love
favoritisms.
wrestling too. We love
We love
wrestling.
wrestling too.
And that was like at a time in our life we used to wrestle in the backyard every damn day. So it
Uh,
was all like in our DNA at that point. So it definitely James Laurinaitis holds a very special spot in our hearts for those different
Yes.
reasons. So no, good pick. My number three, Jordan. This one's going to seem odd to people because it's kind of a weird pick. He was very, very good at Ohio State, but it just never got to where it could be. Terrell Pryor. I just love, like, he was just the most, he was like the perfect athlete. Everything like was so streamlined, and it blew my mind that he was so damn good as a two-sport athlete. He averaged like 33 points a game in high school on basketball, and I was a basketball player then, so I thought it was crazy that he was that damn good. Terrell Pryor was one of my favorite players to ever play at Ohio State. He's my number three.
If the NIL had been around then, Doug, I think Terrell Pryor's NFL career would have been a lot longer. Just kind of echo you. I don't like the way they treated him. I don't like the way all that went down with Trussell with Pryor. But seeing Pryor in the pros, when he went both ways there for Cleveland, see him kind of play safety at times. He had recorded interceptions. He had that 1,000-yard year at wide receiver. Then seeing him that play in Oakland when he takes it against the Steelers. Oh yeah!
Oh my God! He glided away. Glided away from everybody. He's
just like a gazelle. Fast. It was, man.
That's what I mean. There was just something electric about him at all times. There's something electric about Terrell Pryor. Who's your number two, Jordan?
Number two for me. I'm not running out of names. I've got too many names. That's the problem.
Yeah, you used some good ones early.
I did. We number two. It's tough. That's a tough. I'm gonna go with Ted Ginn Jr. I mean, the guy was just so phenomenal. He on kickoffs, kick returns. You needed a deep ball. Late in his career in the NFL when he got to Miami, he kind of started running routes better. But just a guy that you could just count on. He that old fuck it, he's down there somewhere, right? I mean, that was a definition of Ted Ginn Jr. The man was 20. He was the original 7-Eleven. Not taking anything away from Jamar Chase, but Ted Ginn Jr. in his prime was just a phenom.
It's funny. Number two for me was Troy Smith. His Heisman year, the year we got to the championship against Florida. The game didn't go the way we wanted it to, but Troy Smith really changed the quarterback play at Ohio State. Kind of the first, there's been other guys that could run a little bit, but he was the first dual threat, first Heisman winner in a long time in terms of quarterback. Troy Smith was special, and he's definitely special in my book too. So Troy Smith is my number two. Change the game for Ohio State in terms of quarterbacks, like you talked about earlier. Jordan, you're number one.
Man, that's just
Craig Krenzel. Is it time?
I think he's going to be in my honorable mentions.
Is it too early for Craig Krenzel to be on the
list? Too early
list?
for Craig Krenzel. Hey, shout out! He did go to the Bears for a little bit. Everybody forgets about that, but
he did.
For me, this is where I'm going to put the Bosa brothers, just because they highlighted Ohio State defense again where it needed to be.
Yeah,
and they really made Ohio State defense relevant again. Both first round picks, kind of started highlighting stuff. Shout out to Sam Hubbard. He was still on that same squad, but the Bosa brothers were just changed the game. Really changed the game for Ohio State at a time where they needed to be kind of reestablished as a defense.
That's that. I highlighted them, but I didn't have them that high. But they were so damn good. Jordan, my number one is your number two, Ted Ginn Jr.
Yes, he
was electricity. He was the most exciting player we might have ever had. Archie Griffin and Eddie George were fantastic, but there was a home run possibility no matter what. he took that kickoff back against the Florida State or against Florida in the national championship, the very first play of the game. And I thought, I know, but I thought when it happened, I thought we were going to kick the shit out of him. I was so excited, but he was just, like you said, he was the 7-11 before, he was Troy Smith's guy, throw it deep, go get it, outrun, reverse. He was just so exciting. And I'll just never forget Ted Ginn Jr. and how well he was on kickoff, punt return, wide receiver, whatever you needed. Ted Ginn went out there and got it done at a very high level. Ted Ginn is my favorite Ohio State Buckeye of all time.
And Doug, you look at his NFL career. He just, wherever he went, he just got it done, even late in his career.
Yeah.
He just, whether it was Carolina or New Orleans or Miami, he continuously just found ways to be creative and useful and still really get it done even later in his age. So it was just amazing to see. I love this.
Quick shout out to Home Field they're on Twitter, they're on Facebook. They sell helmets, replica helmets, real helmets. They're all really well priced. Guys, go check out Home Field. Definitely was a nice addition to the office. Wanted to shout them out on the show. I know I did the video for them, but wanted to shout those guys out because they make nice-ass helmets, and I'm excited to have that Ohio State helmet on the mantle. So shout out to them. Jordan, we've gone 46 minutes, dude. We thought you might be out of today's game. You showed up, you kicked ass, you brought it. Let's go over our top 10s one more time. Jordan, your top 10. Santonio Holmes, A.J. Hawk, Ezekiel Elliott, Mike Thomas, Troy Smith, Denzel Ward, Hankins, James Laurinaitis, Ted Ginn, Bosa Brothers. My top 10, Bosa Bros at 10, Chris Olave at 9, Beanie Wells at 8, A.J. Hawk at 7, Denzel Ward at 6, Chris Gamble at 5, James Laurinaitis at 4, Terrell Pryor at 3, Troy Smith at 2, Ted Ginn at 1. That was fun, Jordan. We'll post those lists out there on the web. Just see if we can get some lists from some other people and see how they stack up with it. You got anything else before we get out of here, buddy? We're back on the horse tomorrow with the Reds against the Guardians. Kind of quiet right now for most sports in Ohio. We're hoping to get some things going. We got the Olympics coming up.
With the Olympics coming up, we might have a project coming out of there. FC Cincinnati kicks off on the 15th again. Yep. They come back from their break. I'm sure the Cavs head coach search. We're gonna be pressing the pulse really hard there. Just kind of touch on the Connecticut head coach did not take the Lakers job. So to me and Doug personally, that kind of puts up a few of those dominoes that were like the dominoes are starting to fall. Well, the dominoes are kind of back up again, and
yes.
I still think there's a high chance that LeBron James comes home because the Lakers front office is still in disarray, Doug. So there's still no stability there. They still don't have their guy. So maybe that kind of pushes Cleveland. Maybe I'm hoping for an announcement no later than Wednesday this week. I know I'm pushing it.
Seems soon.
But the NBA draft is too close. Everything's too close around the corner. So we need decisions now. So you'll be hearing whether it's shorts, breaking announcements, or maybe we'll bust in on the show here Thursday and maybe we'll have some good news for you. But stay tuned. We'll keep you guys informed when we get it, and we'll kind of go from there.
Yep. And then, guys, we will be back Thursday night. We're going to be talking another college program in Ohio. We'll be back, obviously, with some Reds news with the Guardians series, and we're excited. 91 people tonight, Jordan, live in the studio with us. We appreciate every single one of you. Yeah. We got a lot of stuff going on, a lot of sticks in the fire right now, and we're trying to make some things happen. We appreciate everybody who's helping us out. Jordan, love you, man. Glad you could make it. I know we appreciate you powering through. I'm Doug. That's Jordan. We will see you Thursday night at 9 p.m. This has been Ohio Sports Talk. Peace.